Sup Shredders, my name is Logan, aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Reacts, where today we have ourselves a track from an act named Freddy Zucchet titled Lucky Star, and if we switch over to here, I have something to admit. This is not the first time that I reviewed Freddy Zucchet. Apparently I did this review around 4 years ago when I actually started on Fiverr, so that's a bit of a... That's wild. I've just left a comment there. Freddy Zucchet and Universe Club New Zealand reviews. Welcome to Brighter Days. So this is a review I did previously. So that apparently people seem to like that, according to the comments, which is great. I think it was a good song. I feel like I've aged about 20 years in the last 4 after looking at that. But we're gonna check out this new track from Freddy Zucchet titled Lucky Star, and we're gonna hear what we think. Let's do it. What do we got? The piano parts are gorgeous immediately. Beautiful harmonies. There's an interesting build there. Feels like the right place to put the snares and stuff. Great use of dynamics here.
Without the light of lucky stars, without the glare inside our hearts.
That was so short. I mean, I don't mind that. Executive producer Jeff Dogs in USA, Dorothea Ackerman in Germany, and Julie Zaccari in France. There's a lot of people involved in this out there. I mean, to be fair, the music video was very interesting. I did quite like it. I'm just not qualified enough to really sort of speak on it. Ah, okay. Femke Vai appears by courtesy of Hannah Project and Sony. Oh, crazy. So they're like they're a bigger artist. They're a big artist, should I say. And piano was Mita Green by courtesy of Pentacord Media. Some artists' names and images are protected. In this case, they are replaced by pseudonyms. Fascinating. It's been a while since I reviewed a song which has had such a kind of artsy music video, but I think it was really well handled. Because welcome to the conclusion, I suppose, of this review of this track from an actor named Freddy Zucchet, titled Lucky Star, with the understanding that in this sort of conclusion section, I'm basically going to speak on a few things that I did quite appreciate about this track, and then also list any sort of potential areas for any sort of like feedback or improvement in a constructive way. But I think, first of all, what I think this track is about. I think when we talk about Lucky Star, I'm wondering if it's more sort of looking up into the sky and the galaxy and trying to find that sense of hope, that safe harbor, that place, that person we can rely on, that lucky star, and kind of not allowing our own hearts to sort of overshadow that or muddle things in a way which kind of distracts us from that point. Maybe it's to not take for granted the fact that we have that person in our lives who can make us feel that way, or sort of like have hope for that, for their sort of existence. I'm not quite sure, but I mean, either way, it's an interesting concept. I feel like you'd probably need maybe like another couple of times to listen through this track to sort of really get all the nuance from the vocal lines and everything like that alongside the rest of the track. But it was a very sort of soothing, mesmerizing experience all around. I think part of what made this track work so well is the actual vocal performance. It's not just that we sing well with clear sort of like hidden just very comfortable with our vocal range and technique. It's that we also have the sense of tenderness with the way that we express ourselves. It sort of kind of reminds you in a sense that we not need to not only be able to sing well, but also to kind of convince the listener that this is something that we feel intrinsically passionate about. And so I think that it was an authentic performance that also adds to the sense of mystique and mystery behind the rest of the instrumental layers within the piece. And overall, it was very compelling. And whether it was the main lead or the different layers around the sides, I think it was not either way very effective. I think another thing that really worked well within this track is almost like the dreamlike aesthetic of all of those different sort of synthy kind of reverb tails of the keys and everything like that. The kind of smoothness, the way you're kind of glossed and coated in it, the way the music surrounds you in the headphones, and there's no real kind of harsh edges. There's bits to appreciate and enjoy, and it's not like there isn't percussion. Like you do have the snare hits that come in a bit later on and everything like that, but it is a very sort of like mesmerizing in the beauty, the dazzling display of the brighter increments that exist throughout it. I mean, like, it's also like the fact that a lot of these like elements, like the hi-hats, for example, they do go around the stereo field, and there's constant movement of things in regards to that. The production is tight. You have development not just from an actual structural performative experience, but it's also the way that you hear different textures and tones, not just that we've got competent chord progressions and bass lines and we understand how to combine those melodies and the vocals together. It's that everything has a space within the ether. I think also it's the journey that we have in regards to both dynamic range, well, and dynamic range in general. Like in that midsection where all these feelings swell up, the music is very, very intense and very loud, but in a way where it's not abrasive. And you come off of that eventually after the drums peter out, and you simply are left with the person explaining or sort of quantizing their own situation and trying to figure the best way out. And I feel like it's almost like meant to represent the swell of emotions there, but it's done in a way which is classy and not sort of generic. There's a lot of different components and twists and turns within this, and there's a special attention paid in terms of the electronic production as well as the literal sort of snare hits that are there, but also the keys and the synths and pads and bass lines and everything like that are not a constant, but are there for a lot of it. And you absorb all of this. It's the journey, though, in terms of perceived loudness, the rush that it kind of rolls you along with. And I think that overall, if we take the actual vocal performance, the actual, like, the way that the instruments are presented in terms of their tones and textures and the smoothness and sort of like the mistiness of it, combined with the use of dynamic range from a production perspective to make it really sort of compelling. There's a lot of other things to appreciate, but those are my main sort of things that I really enjoy. And I think that overall, at the form factor it's incredibly compelling as a listen. Do I feel I could have done anything to potentially improve it? No, I feel like it's a very sort of unique experience. It's very personal to Freddy Zucchet and everyone else involved. And I think that to try and sort of like differ it, to try and sort of like quote unquote improve it would almost sort of like ruin it, because when you've got a piece that you're comfortable with and a vision has been fulfilled and there's clearly all the boxes have been ticked in regards to the fundamentals, it's literally figure out what else, advanced you want to pertain to it. And here there was nothing I think that needed to be adjusted. It's very much an interesting experience. I had a great time with it. Hopefully you did too, because this is my review of this track from an actor named Freddy Zucchet, titled Lucky Star, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please go show them some love via their various social medias and their YouTube page, and stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as you need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world, and I will catch you in the next SP Reacts. Spiderhands Out.